For the longest time, my indie game has had a problem. Its distinct lack of a level select, kind of something that you need to have in a level-based puzzle game. I figured it's about time to remedy that, so let's see how I tackled it. I started off by nailing down an overall design for how I wanted the UI to look, with the initial sketch unraveling in MS Paint here. A few ideas came to mind initially, but the one that stuck with me the most was a calendar. It fit perfectly with the seasons in the game and will be a great visual to keep the level select interesting. From there, it was time to jump into the design work. I got a good size to leave room for the UI around the edges, then worked on the design of the book and its pages. After that, it was time for the hard part, animating the flips. I laid out a template for how I wanted the page to flip, then gradually went through adjusting the art for each page to match the flips. This took several hours and countless video essays on my second monitor, but once it was all done, I was left with this as the finished product. When I was brainstorming this UI, I wanted to add a little bit of personality to it, and what better way to do that than to give the players stickers they can place on their calendar. I whipped up some simpler designs for some of the assets in the game, and I gave them a dual outline to imitate the look of a sticker with a white border. For now, I'm just trying to get some general ones, like the characters in the game, some season-themed additions, trees and garden beds, but in the future, I plan to have them available for certain achievements or puzzle completions. Maybe the player can get a star on the levels they ace? Either way, stickers are going to be placeable by the player as they unlock them, so I'm currently planning out a system for placing and removing them. I've also got to figure out how this will interact with the calendar's pages flipping, so that'll be a unique challenge. Once I get that figured out though, I think I'll incorporate something similar with the actual levels, most likely some kind of card that flips over and disguises into the page so I don't have to reanimate all of the page flips. So how does the menu actually work? To talk about that, let's dive into the code and layout for the scene. I've got 4 sets of buttons, one for each season. Each one can be linked up to a level, and I made sure to connect their button presses in a way that it'll just select a level based on the button name instead of needing a script for all of them. There's also a forward and backward navigation button for each of the pages that need it. The visibility of each group is toggled based on which page is currently active, which is done after the page flip animation plays. Taking a closer look at the page flip script, we can see all the logic behind this. I'm using a match statement to check the current page and a parameter for the direction, then playing the animations accordingly. This line here with the grab focus function causes the button in question to be selected, allowing the player to navigate between the levels with the keyboard as well as with the mouse. This is a built-in function within Godot. And as you can see here, I've designed a cursor, which I may end up downscaling, but we'll see. With the designing of the level select done, I decided I needed to redo the UI as well, since the wood theme didn't fit all that well anymore. First of all, I got rid of the in-between scenes drop-down menu to speed up the transition between levels a bit. Then it was onto the in-game UI. I played around with a few ideas, but the ones I liked the best were these sticky notes. They're a bit less intrusive than the original wood version, and they fit with the calendar a lot better, plus it wasn't too hard to animate them flipping up. The sticky notes were designed similar to the stickers in terms of visuals, with the double border around them, since that adds to their papery feel. I also added a feature where when hovered over, the notes not only function as buttons, but show the keyboard shortcut for the action in question. For now, they're just hanging around the top of the screen, though I may add something for them to hang off of, and most likely another piece of UI that shows the current level. I was also able to finally hook up the escape option to take you back there, which leads straight into the last feature that I wanted to talk about today. The animation player in Godot is incredibly versatile, and I learned this the hard way after I spent about half an hour trying to animate a camera's movements manually in the code. Turns out, you can just do it in an animation player. Now this was awesome to learn, as it allowed me to revamp quite a few things. The camera pans up to the level select, and when you enter a new level, it complements the cloud movements by shifting on and off screen as the player gets into the level. I was able to make the level transition so much smoother with this, and it also gave me a great way to cut back to the main menu seamlessly, as you see here. The nicest part about this was the fact that I'm able to add these keyframe animations into pre-existing tracks, meaning I didn't have to add a single extra line of code in order to make almost all of these transitions. In the near future, I'll be talking about some art I plan on creating for the other seasons, and some mechanics to go alongside those, so subscribe and stay tuned for the next one.